Why consistency, meaning you are the best loser? Now, I'm gonna explain in this video exactly what does it mean. Obviously, this video is inspired by The Best Loser Wins by the infamous author. If you haven't read that book, I suggest to read the book. But I believe a lot of people don't really understand what it means, and I didn't either. So I'm going to explain it to you what it really means, because a lot of people think that consistency means... By the way, also if you want to follow my trades, my mindset, etc., this is a free group on Telegram. I'm sharing all my trades, my mindset, everything else. You can see we have a whopping 55 members here. You need to be consistently profitable trader. You need to be constantly winning. You need to make constantly profits. All that fancy crap, I would say. When in fact, what does consistency mean? What being consistent is whether you lose, whether you win, whether you get stopped out by 1 pip and the price turn around and go in your favor, whether you get completely disrespected by the market. You keep on going, being consistent with your strategy, whatever the strategy is. If you like to trade ICT, SMC, whatever the other bullshit you want to name it, strategies. Yes, I'm saying bullshit because they are all bullshit, just the fancy names of support and resistance, shift of structure and all that stuff, candlesticks. There's nothing new. The markets are the same for the past 100 years since the candlesticks actually come to the life. By the way, this video is unscripted. I didn't prepare anything. I'm just speaking my mind. So I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna be thinking. So spare with me. Now, it is easier to said than to be done. You know, you can say, I can say, anyone can say, well, I can be consistent with my strategy. It's not a problem. That is the least or the easiest thing to do for me. What is hard for me is to make consistent profit, right? That's what everyone thinks. That's what I think. Everyone thinks that. When in fact, what is really the hardest thing is to being consistent with your strategy. What I mean by that, let's say you wake up in the morning on Monday, you open the charts, you know what you're waiting for, you know your strategy, you know your edge, you know you've been trading the markets for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years maybe, you're not profitable yet or somewhat profitable, and you sit down, have a coffee and say, today I'm gonna wait for this price to do this and then I'm gonna enter the trade. Well, what happened is your mind drift off. Next thing you know, you see the price almost does the thing you're waiting for. Next thing you know, you say to yourself, you know what, I think that's good enough. You know, let me just enter just in case this price does the thing which it's supposed to do in your edge or your strategy, to wait a little bit too early so I don't miss out on the trade. So you enter the trade, and of course, few minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, or whatever, it goes against you and stop you out. Now you being inconsistent, basically. That's what it means. So, listen, is it really that simple? Just if you follow the strategy, that you will be winning every time, that you will be really profitable trader? Of course not. There's many other components which are not technical, which are not on the charts, but they are here. And I'm trading for the past 2 years with actual strategy. And I can tell you, it is harder than you think. Let me get inside my place here. Let me put you down like this. It is harder than you think to be consistent with your strategy. Because when I look at my trading for the past 2 years or so, the main reason why I lost my trades, or I'm losing trades, because I'm still a human and I do exactly what I just said 1 minute ago, the story. And I believe that's the reason why you are not profitable either. That brings me to other thing. Have you ever realized that the more you don't care about something, the more of it you get it? Like you're trying to get something so hard, like trading, make profits. And the more you're trying, the more you're losing your capital, and the more it seems to be in distance. That brings me to another, not contradicting, but different way of thinking. If you just so-called don't give a fuck of the outcome, of course, you do analysis and you read the charts, you learn about the market, and you learn the strategy, all that stuff, all the fancy stuff. And then you enter the trade, and the more you're hoping, or the more you're trying to get it right, that the more it just doesn't working out. If you just do what you're supposed to do and just being completely relying on the market, basically, as contradicting as it sounds, because you're in the mercy of the market. So let's be honest, once you enter the trade, there is nothing you can do except place your stop loss. Obviously, if you don't place your stop loss, maybe you should just focus on figuring out your stop loss first. Because if you don't trade with stop loss, you 100% are meant to lose. And I wish you to lose, because you learn. You learn by your mistakes. So once you place your trade, the only thing you can do is close the laptop or close the charts and do something else and wait. I'll tell you my story. The best trades happened to me, and the biggest trades happened to me. How I passed my 100k challenge, how I passed my 200k challenge, how I passed my another 50k challenge, another 100k challenge, all the fun accounts, and made my biggest profits. Happened when I stopped caring about the outcome. And it sounds so easy to do, but in reality it's so hard. It's so hard when you enter the trade and you're sitting in front of the computer, the screen, and you're praying that it's gonna in your favor. And if it's go a little bit if it goes a little bit against you, your mind naturally, your brain starts thinking, you know what, maybe you should close because it's going close to your stop loss, or maybe you should extend your stop loss, because what if the stop loss is gonna be only one pip away and then it's turned around going in your favor. Or you thinking, I'm losing too much money, which in case you're probably risking too much, and that's why you should lower the amount you're risking if you're not comfortable with risking the amount of money. We are all going through the exact same stuff. All human brains are basically the same. The fear of losing your money. Talking about trading, of course. Fear of anything in the world. That's what drives the world. That's what drives our human brains. And the biggest trades and the way I got funded was the time where I really stopped caring about the outcome. Of course, I do care in some way. I'm hoping it's going to be in my favor. But when I entered the trade and I literally just walk away. And after a couple of hours, I looked at the charts and I was like, all right, I'm a little bit in drawdown, but I close it again. Guess what happens next? Next day I open the chart, it hit my TP or go through my TP. I never set, by the way, target profit automatic. I look at the chart and then decide if I want to close the trade or just keep on going on. Those are the trades which works out 90% of the time when I just didn't look at the charts. If you do, of course, analysis properly, you look at the market correctly, you know what is bearish, what is bullish, all that stuff. So what is the conclusion of this video? The conclusion of this video is stop caring about the outcome and be comfortable with losing. Be comfortable with losing and following your strategy. Be comfortable with losing and forgetting that last trade and move on to the next trade as it was completely fresh, new, which it is, but for our brains it's very, very hard to accept. Same thing as when you have a fight with your missus, with your girlfriend, and let me ask you this. This is from the book, by the way. This is very, very good, not story, but example. How many of you can have an argument with your wife, girlfriend, go to sleep, to the bed, and wake up and have a completely refreshed mind and forget what happened the day before, and come back to your wife and be completely normal, like nothing happened? Not many of you, and it's so hard to do it. It's same thing with trading. If you can forget about the losing trade or the winning trade, it doesn't matter, because the winning trade spark something in your brain which gives you confidence, which is not valid, because you have to treat every trade as a new trade, right? If you have a winning trade, you feel more confident, you feel like, oh, I've got this. If you have a losing trade, you're like, you'll be more hesitant, and you don't enter the trades which you're supposed to enter, and then the trade goes without you. So if you can do that, if you can move on to the next each trade as a new task without any baggage in your brain, trading becomes so much easier. And I'm not saying this just to you watching in the behind the screen on the other side. I'm saying this to myself as well. I'm still human, and I'm still make mistake, and I still fuck up sometime, and that's completely normal. The important thing is to not carry the baggage. Another story, by the way, from the book as well, a very, very good book. I suggest you to read it. Why Tiger Woods is better than any other golfist. Is it because he does, I don't exactly know the terms in the golfs, but is it because he's got better swings? Is it because he can shoot the ball much more further? Is it because he's more accurate? Is it because, he does something special training, all this stuff? No. All the golfists in the world, like talking about the pros, have a similar shooting power and accuracy, all this stuff. The difference with Tiger Woods is that he moves on to the next, whatever you call it in golf, the next stage of golfing, right? The putt hole, without carrying the previous one in his mind, without thinking about how you lost the previous match or whatever it might be. As soon as he moves to the next one, he completely forget what happened before, and he comes with a fresh mind, and that's why he's the best. And I believe that's why the best traders in the world are in the same way. They can forget what happened in the past and move on with clear mind. That's the conclusion of this video. If you like to learn about trading, I have a free Telegram group channel. The link is down below in the description. We have a whopping 70 members. You can join. I don't charge people anything. I'm planning to open a community where you'll be able to guys sharing trade ideas, etc. And I'll be live streaming every Sunday or Monday all my analysis for the following week. And also I may be potentially also streaming futures, which is only like day trade slash scalp, but mostly day trade. I usually swing trade on the forex pairs. Other than that, I wish you nothing than success, and I'll see you guys in the next video.